Hello, comrades. CommissarBRO here today with How to Latvia. That's right. We're taking a look at Latvia, which I'm sure a lot of you are at least mildly familiar with. One of the Baltic states, as we can see here. I think this one down here is Lithuania. Yep, and that's Estonia up there. I am correct about that. So this country isn't necessarily bad starting off. It's got some high budget sliders here, as we can see. A little bit of adjustment to be done for sure. We need to be doing there. We need to be doing there. Let's see, what else should we do? Honestly, we need to there we go, up in infrastructure at least a little bit. I'm not too big on telecom this early on. It's not a bad thing to have, mind you. We're going to lower the healthcare a bit, and we are going to go and raise taxes. That's right. Let's go ahead and bump this bad boy up to about, I'm thinking about 65%. There we go, 65.9. And boom, there it kicked in. We're still a little bit negative, a little bit under budget. But let's speed it up and see if how much changes, how much effects are going to occur with the changes that I've made. You know, tourism is not really flourishing here. It would be nice if we could get a little bit better. Things are still kind of low. Oh my, inflation is 2.5 and lowering, so we want to bump that interest level down to 0 to make sure that it doesn't shrink too much. Hopefully bumping our population's turning on me. Of course they are! They don't want to pay taxes! Nobody ever wants to pay taxes, but someone's got to do it! Someone has to pay the taxes. Well, I guess we could just lower healthcare a bit more. Yeah. It looks like we might actually have to delve into our resource pockets here. Let's see. Consumption is not being met anywhere. Well, no, it's being met in raw materials. Let me shut up. Okay. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. Realistically, though, I don't think we're that bad off to where we need to focus too much on anything. We need to put some money into foreign aid. That's ridiculous. Let's take a look at our diplomacy. See if we're doing anything that might make someone happy. Okay, we could legalize abortion. That'll probably make somebody somewhere happy. Yeah, there we go. Any official... Latvian's our official language spoken. I'm not too concerned about that. Let's see what we've affected by changing to abortion and upping our financial aid. As we can see, there's a few countries who like us a bit more. Stability is lowering. I don't know. Really, this is one of those countries I would probably just up the global tax modifier because they are pretty poor starting off. I mean, they're not very poor. They're not as bad off as a lot of different countries out there. But they're definitely not doing so well. Not at all. We need to find a way to increase that. I was kind of hoping bumping up that tax modifier. There it goes. All right, it kicked in. So now we're making at least a little bit of money here. We've got some high global tax mod 8.1. It's a little bit higher than I would want, but I feel like it's going to pay off in the end. What else could we do? Well, we could up government more to get rid of all that corruption that we're losing money to, because we're actually losing a pretty good amount of money to corruption. Let's see, is it rising? No, it's gone down a little bit. It's not good enough. It's not quite good enough. We need to raise infrastructure a bit. Yeah, we're going to do that. And we're going to leave propaganda at where it is. You know what? We might as well just max out infrastructure. The bonus that'll provide in the long run is way better than than this amount of money that we're paying at this exact moment. Really, what I kind of need to kick in is I need inflation to stop lowering. I'm actually going to raise taxes more. That should be enough. I shouldn't have to raise it any more than that. Yeah, I don't want to raise it any more than that. I don't want my stability dropping too low. That equals less tax money. Yes, less tax money in the long run, ladies and gentlemen. And we don't want that to happen. So it's been 8 months since we started playing. We are positive balance. We're slowly paying this off. Our economic health is slowly rebounding. It went from 36 to 52. the economic health is a good way to know like where your growth is at, like your economic growth and all. So with that said, we're not doing bad. We're at least making money. We've got infrastructure maxed out, so that should, stimulate the resources in our economy at least a little bit to ensure that we're making a bit more. Corruption has, it's money-wise, it's gone up, but overall corruption has been lowering bit by inevitable bit. We're actually going to raise that a bit more just to make sure that more of it's getting paid off. The more you raise, obviously, the government spending, the more corruption, or the faster corruption will be eliminated. So realistically speaking, we could probably up it to here, and we'll start to see more of a turn on our investment a lot sooner with lowering corruption amounts. So, yep. What else could we get rid of? Is there anything else on the budget that we don't need? We don't really have much of a military. Mainly it's debt and corruption. The debt is just pretty high. If we had no debt, for example, we would basically almost be out of deficit. And even then, we could lower healthcare a bit more. I'm going to do that. Again, I'm not a very big proponent of healthcare in this game. I feel like of all the things to be lost, it's one of the most pertinent that you could get rid of. And immigration and immigration are both the same, so that's not that bad. We could close our borders. I don't know how much that would help, though. We could. I don't think I will, though. I'll leave them open. See, we're barely just breaking negative here, so I'm not too concerned. I do feel like over time, it's going to get the desired effect that we want, especially once these really start kicking in and our resources start growing, getting closer to meeting consumption. I feel like we'll be a lot better off. So who knows? Who knows? It's just going to have to take time for us to find out, right? So this is almost a year and a half, almost 2 years later, and we can really see where our changes have started to take off. Our resources are growing. They've grown by about, 5% since we started the game, and income is slowly getting higher and higher. Inflation, we're keeping it at 2.8%. Our personal income is 69.9. So, I mean, you just kind of have to finick with it a little bit. And even then, if I wanted to go extreme and just pay off all this debt right away, I could have lowered a lot of this. But I'm looking for more long-term growth. You kind of just have to have faith in it, because this game, a lot of it is behind the scenes. A lot of it you're not going to see, especially right away. So, you kind of just have to finick with it and figure out what works for each country, and bam, there you go. Like I said, this is I kind of like there's more extreme methods of doing this. I could have went north and taken Estonia, or went south and taken Lithuania. Taken over my neighbors and then add in their already considerable resources into my own, especially Estonia. Estonia's got quite a few resources that could have helped us. So, that's always an option there. Plus, I think they even have a smaller yeah, they do. They have a smaller population than us. And it's mostly young people who can work and whatnot. So, especially Lithuania. I didn't look at them, 61.7. So, I mean, these are all possibilities. And bam, look at that money. Look at that growth. God, I look away for a second, and we've just bumped up like 10%. That's beautiful. So, this is kind of what I'm talking about when, if you kind of just let your country play itself almost a lot of times. You just have to make a few changes here and there, and it will happen. You will start making a lot of money, and as you can see, we're making a butt ton off trade right now. We are flourishing in trade. So this is great stuff. This is really good stuff. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay off my debt, and then I'm going to start investing directly into the market, to make a lot more money. Because as we can see, look, I'm making 852, and this is how you play it. This is how you do it. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask me. I will be glad to answer to the best of my ability. I hope this has been able to assist anybody who would decide to play as Latvia. And yeah, like I said, if any further questions come up, feel free to ask, because I play this game quite often, so I know a lot about it. Anyway, this has been CommissarBRO, and I'll see you guys next time.